Okay, guys, I've been messing around with the CreationKit for a couple weeks now. It's about driving me crazy, but I've figured out a couple of things, and I'm slowly getting deeper into creating some more interesting things. One of the things I'm working on are some angled wings. Now, I cannot create 3D meshes. I can modify them as long as they work in NifSkope, but I can't do much more than that. I've had some 3D experiences, but that was a long time ago. Even NifSkope was something I had to relearn. I used that last time in Fallout New Vegas, I think, to modify some guns. Here's the issue that we're having. We'll start off by looking at the shipbuilder that's part of the CreationKit. This may come in handy for you because almost anybody could do this. I've got two windows open. This window, I've got it filtered down to Structures Nova, so it'll show me all structures for Nova. And on this window, I've got it filtered down to Frontier. These are actually the same types of windows. They're copies of each other. They just have filters. Okay, I'm going to double click on this. This will bring up the editor. This is where you would create all the things that go inside of that spaceship, the inventory, the stats, all that stuff. We're not going to mess around with that. We just want the shipbuilder so we could see what we're doing with my wing project. It'll show up these things. They're keywords that would connect up to something else. We don't want those right now. We don't want to delete those permanently, but we just don't want them right now. So we're going to delete them. This allows me access to the actual shipbuilder. We do not want to save it. We can ignore the errors. Okay, I'm loading into the shipbuilder now. It opens the shipbuilder underneath this window, so you won't see it. You'll have to tab to it. And here we are. Okay, you've got diagonal wings here. I've done that by melding two different objects together. And I'll show you that in a moment because I think we'll have to go back in there. What I'm trying to do is get these to match up properly on this side, which is a matter of just adjusting the snaps. And you can see it is not by much at all. And we got to check this side as well because that side might have to be adjusted using NifSkope. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case because that's considerably more than here. So we're going to have to drop this portion in NifSkope. So let's go ahead and go to it now. First thing I'll do is get out of the shipbuilder. The shipbuilder is a bit buggy and it will crash the whole game on occasion. The next thing we do is cancel out of this. We don't want to save it. We just cancel it. Now I've got NifSkope under here somewhere. There we go. This is NifSkope. It's kind of a sort of 3D program that's meant specifically for games. And it looks like it's meant specifically for Bethesda games, but I couldn't say. Now, this object here is actually two merged objects. I've taken the Nova wing, this is the center section, and I've merged it against a Nova cowling piece on the side, which is that little quarter curved section. It's the only way I could get this thing to have a nice flat interface to interface with the habitat module. Of course, that means we have to do a little finagling to get it correct. The thing that we'll have to do is move this part up, and that will hopefully get us to where we need to be. Okay, things here are kept in nodes, 9 nodes. I know you guys can't read it because I'm streaming at a very low resolution, but if you want to merge objects, you create a new node, and then someday I'll show that to you. And then you can go ahead and dump your stuff into that node, which is something you've exported. You'll import into that node, and then you can start doing things with it. I am not the guy to be showing you how to do this stuff because I know almost nothing about it myself. We're going to the Z-axis. Sorry that you guys can't read it. I can barely read it, and I have to stick my eyeballs right up against the screen. I got to take a look at something that will help me. Let's go ahead and get out of this. Like, for instance, a guide of some sort. And, what would be a good guide? Yeah, I guess I'll use this line where it intersects here, because we don't need to do much of it. Okay, we'll move that out of the way. Go to the Z-axis and start moving it. That should be enough. Did you guys see that? You can see that moves just this portion. And I think this is about where I want to be. If we're not sure, we'll reset and do it again. We'll try that. And now we'll save it. Luckily, in this game, we don't have to reload everything all the time. It'll automatically have that in memory. Now, I'm at the snap area of this. This is where we set up our snap templates. And it doesn't show you too much here, but we will have to move these just a little bit. If you click on it, you get a crosshair, and you'll get some dialog windows that will help you, or the little scroll type windows, whatever they're called. We'll have to move those just a little bit. And I think just a little bit, like even that's too much. So let's go with just a very little small difference. Like we'll say 45 maybe. Okay, let's go to the other side and we'll do the same. Okay, now again, I know you guys can't see it, but this is not a tutorial so much as to show you how things are done. I can't stream at 1680. That's just too much. I can't do the bandwidth. Okay, we're going to go to the window here where I've got Frontier as the filter, and that shows me Constellation Frontier template. It's not quite a blueprint, but I guess that's pretty close. This is, again, where all the things are kept, all the specs, and you can actually build your spaceship here. Delete those two items temporarily. Open up the ship builder. Okay. Now, I said that this ship builder can be a little bit buggy, so let's find out. Move it away and snap it back. And it looks like I've come too far, so I'm going to have to drop it down. We've gone the wrong direction maybe, but we're not quite there yet. I think we're going to have to drop this down too, because I notice it's still fairly close here, but fairly far off here. And you can just see that little ridge there. Okay, so I'm going to close that. Close that. Close stuff because you can break it. Okay. I've gone the wrong direction here. I will want to go to the correct direction. Let's go and see what happens. We'll move it up. There we go. 1.55. And we'll move this one up. I'm using the scroll wheel on my mouse, and that goes to about 1/10 of a, or whatever this thing is 1/10 of a unit. Okay. Save it, because you never know when that ship builder is going to crash. delete this. Remember, we're not going to save it. We're going to cancel out of it once we've done it. Can ignore the errors. Now, it won't automatically resnap it for us. It'll be up to us. But, oh, now we've corrected in the wrong direction again. It's just so close. How are we doing here? Yep, we're only a little bit better there, and we're quite a bit off here. So we got our work cut out for us. I think we'll bring it out first, because I noticed that we're out here too. And it's really, which one do you want to move? Because every time you move one thing, because this is made from two elements, you'll have to move another thing as well. Okay, so we're going to move that snap a little bit in this direction. Oops, I think let's just go ahead and close that and cancel out of this. Okay. And now this time we're going to move in a different axis. We're going to try the x-axis. 0.20. And that actually may be too much. Okay. Delete these again. You've got to reset the snaps manually. So there we go. Oh, we are so close. We might have done a little bit too much. Yeah, a little bit too much in the opposite direction. I went 5 up, or 0.05 up, and so we're going to make that just a little bit different. Now let's see, where am I at? 0.25? Or we're at 0.20. Okay. Let's try 5. See, at this point, I'm having to use the keyboard to type it in because the mouse scrolls in increments of 10. Okay. Now, this is not normal because I'm at a diagonal. All those calculations have to be taken into account. And the problem is that the coordinates of the shipbuilder or of the CreationKit don't necessarily agree with the coordinates of NifSkope. And so you could bring in 2 different objects with the same coordinates in NifSkope, and they might slightly be off. Even though I've set this up to be this orientation, because there's a little green arrow that points forward and a red arrow that points right and a blue arrow that points up, I've had to go into the pack-ins list, which allows you to correct the coordinates and flip them 180 degrees to get them right. Okay, let's go ahead and bring that back in. I think we need to save it again. Up. Watch where I click. And again, I apologize, you can't read it. I just can't stream something like that. My hotspot couldn't handle it. It melts even when I do 480. Oops. Looks like I left the shipbuilder open. Let's see if it has a cow. And boy, it's getting real hard to tell. Up another couple points, I think, and that'll do. Okay. We are almost done with this turkey. Where did we put last? 0.25, and we want to go up just a little bit. Oh, that's not the direction we want to go. Let's see. Let's put that back to where we were. You can cancel out of it if you've made a mistake that screwed everything up, which is what we've just done. I need to be on the other axis, on the z-axis. And I need to come up maybe 1. Come on. Yeah, maybe 1. So I'm entering in via keyboard. Oops. I want to check those numbers again. Yeah, just 1. 6. Okay, this is where my memory problem causes me a lot of trouble. You know, I can't remember the number I just looked up, so I have to go back and look it up again. It's culminating into something terrible, I'm sure, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Okay, pull these out. And we might be right on the money now. We've got to reset the snap because it won't do it automatically. And we are still slightly off. I was a little too conservative. I needed to come up 2. And that's going to have to be corrected using the NifSkope. So let's get into NifSkope first. These increments are so small that it becomes difficult to eyeball what you're doing, so you've got to find the right thing to focus on. There we go. Let me see if I can just get across that line. If I can get across that line, that might be enough. See, I can see just a little bit of black. Maybe if I can come up a little bit and cover that black, that might be enough. We're on the z-axis. Oh, wow. That's quite a bit. So I think we're going to have to cut the difference. It wants to come up by 2. I'm going to make it come up by 1. I think. No, let's go ahead and come up by 2. That's... Nope, 1's enough. Better to cut twice than measure once? What is it? Okay. I'm not very funny, I admit it. Save it. Hopefully it's remembered my changes. And let's see. We're on the z-axis, so we need to try. Can barely see. Sometimes you need to do a great movement to see what the small movement is. Okay, let's try 8. No, not that. 5/8. And we go to the other one. 5/8. Oops. These are such tiny measurements. I'm not sure anybody cares that much about it. I've seen a couple where they were off by such a degree, and it shouldn't bother you, and it shouldn't bother me, but it's nice to do it right, I guess, to show you guys how it goes. Let's see how bad off we are. Okay, this was the one that was quite far off. We have not fixed that part yet, but we'll see if we fix this part. Come on. In fact, we made it worse. But let's see. You can see how this side here is up, but this side here is down. And so that's a mismatch between NifSkope and this element. I'm going to work on that a little later. I think I've shown you guys enough on how that stuff works. Catch you later.